Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, March 19th, 2023. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of today's lesson so you know what to expect. You're going to arrive around 9:30 and check in the check-in room. Make sure you get your sticker and that you pray together with the children's ministry team. Then you're going to come back to our classroom, and as students begin arriving, there are a few different jobs that the volunteers can do. So job number one is one person needs to be standing at the door with the white binder taking attendance as the kids arrive. You just check mark their name as they arrive. Another volunteer should be turning the TV onto the YouTube app. Look for this week's song, Unstoppable God, Life Point Kids Worship with Motions. Go ahead and start that. They can listen to it while they're working at their centers, and then just let it continue to play through other songs that are similar. And when it's time for worship, then you're just going to go back to that song again. And then the other two volunteers can just be kind of walking around the room and visiting with students. At 10:10, it's time to clean up. My preferred way to do this is that they clean up their center, but then they sit at their table to show that they are done cleaning, that the floor around them is clean, and then you choose one person from each table to put the center away. And then once all the centers are put away, call them by grade level to the worship area over there by the television. I call them by grade level, starting with kindergarten, so our youngest kids can be up close to the front. You're going to do Unstoppable God together, singing and motions. And then when that is done, around 10:20, the 3rd through 5th graders are going to exit through that back door behind the worship area and go to their upstairs classroom. If you are a 3rd through 5th grade teacher, make sure you have the yellow bag. Inside it is a key on a lanyard. That's going to be how you unlock the door upstairs. So when you get up there, you're going to unlock the door, but then lock yourself back in. So just turn it back so you see that lock piece stick back out again. As you enter, so that you are safely locked inside. Also bring your cell phones with the volume turned on, because you'll be getting a text when it's time to return back downstairs, and do a head count of the students as you exit the downstairs classroom so you know how many kids you're taking upstairs. Once the kids are in their two separate spaces, it's time for monthly memory verse and prayer. So the monthly memory verse is Mark 9:35. If you have not done one of these parts, make sure that they get caught up. And this week we are finishing it up with Mark 9:35. They should practice this multiple times and remind them that next Sunday is our memory verse Sunday. So if they've not been practicing this, they need to do that. There are small sheets by the attendance binder, and so those sheets can go home with them. Again, they've been out for 3 weeks, but if they haven't taken one home yet, or if they need an extra copy, they're welcome to take one home. After going over the memory verse multiple times, it is time for prayer requests. So you collect prayer requests from the kids and record them in the book that you have in your classroom. Downstairs for K2 and the 3rd through 5th grade boys have a purple book. If you're in 3rd through 5th grade girls, it is like a holographic book. So we record those, pray through that together. If you are in the upper grades, the kids might want to do the prayer themselves, which is awesome. And then you're going to pray the Lord's Prayer together. Following that, we're moving into this week's story, which is Gospel Story Bible Lesson 145, The Humility of Christ, which is on pages 292 and 293, which you can see right here. So if you're downstairs, you're going to read this to the class. If you're upstairs, the students like to read this themselves out loud for the group. We just have them break it up by paragraphs so that there's multiple kids can have a chance, and there are 3 copies of each book upstairs. So once you've read through that story, you're going to let them know that we're going to reference back to part of what they talked about in the story. So we're going to reference back to Philippians 2, 1 through 11. So if you are both groups, you're going to be locating where that verse is in the Bible. But if you're in K through 2, once they've located Philippians 2, verse 1, the teacher's going to read it out loud to the group, and they're just going to follow along with their fingers. If you are upstairs in 3rd through 5th, they're going to read that section independently or with a partner, and then the teacher will read it out loud to them. Or the kids could read it out loud too. And then you have a few follow-up questions that you can do together. This comes from our Old Story New book, which is paired up with our Gospel Story Bible. Feel free to take as long as you need to with these questions. It's really good to dig deep with these with the kids. So even if there's a week where you don't get to the craft because you are spending a lot of time in this area instead, that is totally fine. But if you do get to the craft, kindergarten through 2nd grade, we're actually going to X this out because I made some changes. It is somewhat similar, but there are a lot of changes. So what we focused on in the story is Jesus first, others second, yourself last. So I have a coloring sheet on the back. It says joy. It did cut off weird, so they can like fix it themselves and color that. On the other side is part of the verse. Philippians 2:3, do nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. So they can do this coloring sheet. I'm also going to order some of those paper bracelets that have like sticky part on them, and they can write J-O-Y, joy, short for Jesus, others, yourself, and they can make themselves like a little decorated bracelet to take with them. Those are still en route from Amazon, so they'll be doing this coloring sheet as well as a bracelet that says J-O-Y, and I'll have an example in here on Sunday. For when you do that. If you are upstairs, you are doing something different. You're doing an object lesson. So they're going to need their Bibles, balloons, 1 penny, and 1 metal nut. There is a script here. Oh my goodness. I just realized that I didn't change where what the lesson is. This part is from last week, so I apologize for that. But this is going to be talking about the Jesus, others, yourself. So I'm going to read the script to you quickly. We're going to begin by digging a little deeper into Paul's letter to the Philippians. So they're going to read chapter 2 and continue on through verses 12 through 16. So once they've read that, Paul is very clear that we should not grumble or dispute. He says that if we can do that, we will be blameless and innocent. Let's do an activity to show how that works. So I have given you 3 balloons. You only need 2, but I figured if one breaks, you've got an extra. And one of them, you're going to put inside of it a metal nut, which I will have that for you on Sunday. So you're gonna put a metal nut inside there, blow it up, and tie it off. You're gonna start to spin the balloon. And when you spin it, the nut will be in there, and it's going to kind of like, it's gonna make a lot of noise. It's gonna be kind of going all over the place and making the balloon seem like it's a little crazy and wild. And eventually, when you keep going, it will pop the balloon. Then what you're going to do is, before you start, you're going to have them compare the penny and the metal nut, talk about how they're different, and then you're going to do the penny. So you're going to put the penny inside your other balloon, put the penny inside, blow it up, and tie it off. How is the penny moving? You will notice it's going smoothly. There's no noise or bumps, and the balloon is safe. So they want you to do it separately. It really doesn't matter. You can do the nut first or the penny first, either one. But when you put the penny in and it's blown up and you twirl the balloon in a circle, the penny is going to go smoothly. There's not going to be any noise. It's going to be very smooth. It's not going to pop the balloon. So once you see both the penny and the nut, you're going to say, how do you see this happen with other Jesus followers? Thinking about not grumbling, how the nut kind of represents what would happen if we're grumbling, how it makes it very bumpy. How can we be careful to work together to bring God glory without grumbling? So you're going to do that for your object lesson. And then if there's time afterwards, they can get their journals out and they can discuss a time that they saw people working together, like the penny, where it's smooth and no grumbling, to share God's love without grumbling or complaining. How could we do something together as a group to share his love? So they should be kind of thinking through how we could do that. Be watching for a text to come through to let you know when it's time to come downstairs. As soon as you get that text, you need to quickly clean up and come down. If there needs to be more time to clean up, because there are 3 adults upstairs, 1 adult can stay and spend an extra minute or 2 cleaning up while the other 2 adults walk the kids back downstairs. When you come back downstairs, enter through that back door to the worship area so that if parents have started to arrive or if kids are still working on their craft downstairs, that we're not interrupting them. The TV can go back on. We can listen to worship music together, hand out Bible prizes on the carpet. 1 adult should be in charge of that so that that goes smoothly. And then 1 adult should be checking students out, collecting stickers. Please make sure to use the kids to help you with this. They love to help with it, and it does make it go smoother if you have a child that is collecting stickers, maybe a child who is the runner to go and get kids as their parents arrive. And I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for serving this week, and we'll see you on Sunday.